Okay. Hey artists, welcome to my live stream. Uh, Today I want to create this pirate character here. So let me see how many people are already in the stream. Great. So I will just start right away. And yeah, welcome. So I'm testing right now some tablets, like screen-based tablets, and that's why I made a new what's called UI here. Let me drag this up a little bit. Um, because I was scrolling a lot for and back, and it annoys me a little bit. So I'm planning like having all of this stuff. Like I want to clean it up a little bit. Sometimes some things I do not use very often, um, like group loops and this stuff, and put the rest, I think, somewhere here. Of course, this narrows your screen, but yeah. Anyway, you can. Oh, let me. But it's a little bit better than scrolling up and down all the time. This doesn't work. Yeah, like this. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I will start right away here. So oops. I'm testing some tablets with screen-based tablets right now, and you will see my reviews. I mean, one review I already did. It's just a little review because I'm not used to create like technical reviews and this stuff, and I do not want make it boring like with too many technical stuff. I am actually not a technical guy. I do not care about technical stuff too much. Um, but it's actually fun. I Someday I was using a small screen-based tablet, which I do not or didn't enjoy too much because like these buttons here are very, very tiny on this little screen, but these bigger screen-based tablets are, I think they are pretty fun because you are, like I said in my review, it's a pretty direct kind of working. I like it because when you are doing like flow, like on hair and this stuff, you have a better feeling actually. So when you have some like of course not for beginner artists, I would not recommend it for beginner artists because they are not cheap. But when you have some experience, then you can give it a try. And of course, for painting, 3D painting, 3D or 3D painting, yeah, sure, for 3D painting, I mean, for texture painting and for 2D painting and drawing, it's pretty cool to have it like on the screen. So I have, like I said, I modified because I was always like like watching for these buttons here. It was a little bit annoying, and right now I can have them here. Um, so some buttons, of course, are not there, like this one. Like I said, I'm planning actually having most of this stuff here or over here, so I can so I do not have to scroll too much around. But yeah, tell me what you are working on, or what you are doing right now. And I will, but I somehow, I don't know, this button there is like, I cannot remove it for some reason. I don't know why. So this guy has a pretty huge jaw, and I like his nose. You know me already. I love these big long noses. They are fun to create. And of course, I forgot the reference at this side. Again, I always forget it. Let me see. There. And of course, you can tell me if you are like, if you want to do a new challenge, art challenge on my Discord. And if so, you are free to um, maybe share like your thoughts, or maybe you can share a artwork on Discord. Maybe you have an idea for oh, this one for an artwork or a theme. Maybe maybe we can do something like free. Maybe you can do some like um, Peterson is asking where I do get my concepts. I get them mostly from Pinterest. I'm just scrolling down, and I'm watching for like someone was asking me what is my criteria for concepts. And actually, I maybe you know already, or you saw my stuff on ArtStation, that I usually prefer these types of characters because they have so much like expression and so much like distortion in the face. And yeah, and they are pretty fun to create. That's why I always have a look on Pinterest. I know on Pinterest you get a lot like AI stuff, which is, yeah, you have to decide on your own if you want to support or like use AI. I mean AI generated images. I still don't know, like I saw a, I don't want to name anyone like like by name. I but I saw like a big artists on YouTube using AI stuff, AI generated images, and I was like, hmm, I mean, when he does, why shouldn't I use it? Because someone was telling, oh, you shouldn't use it, but actually, people do not care too much. I have no idea if I want to use it or not, but you are free, of course, for practicing. You're free to use whatever you want. But yeah, actually, Pinterest, it is. And of course, when you pull down his mouth like this, of course you cannot leave it like this because you have no like shape there. You have to um, be some kind of concept artist and recreate the volume there. Yeah, the style is actually pretty cool. And when you want to learn 3D, then I recommend to um, yeah, to have a focus on like not just the realistic stuff. Of course, you learn realistic stuff. I think, to my opinion, I would prefer to learn first the realistic stuff. But of course, on some day, like on some point in your career, you can focus on more characters like this one. It's not easy to create, but the market for these characters is a little bit bigger than um, for realistic stuff, for realistic characters, especially when you are not uh, living in the US, for example, because US market is more relying on, not more relying, but like they have a lot more games which are real, some kind of realistic on the market. But like in Europe, for example, in Germany, in France, Italy, or I don't know, the market is more focused on like how it's called. Oh, let me see. Oh yeah, okay. It's more focused on stylized characters. Moakic Jr. Welcome. Welcome, guys. Hi, Victor. You're thank you very much. Thank you for following me, and of course, you're welcome when you take my pieces as inspiration. Of course, these are like not my characters, these ones. Okay, I'm realizing them just as 3D characters. So, of course, a huge thank you goes to artists who are creating these characters, these 2D pieces here. So, yeah, my I wanted to say that like my one of my goals is to inspire people, of course, as a teacher, as a coach. Oh, by the way, someone was asking me on Instagram, I think, um, if you can have like coaching, teaching from me. And yes, of course. Um, you can visit my Pinterest. Oh, no, my Patreon. Sorry. You can visit it and have life coaching. I mean, like as a member, of course, when you subscribe to the membership, then you can have coaching from me, personal coaching, and yeah, I would love to have you as a student. So right now I'm actually working a lot. Like I'm creating about 3 sculpts per week right now. So these live streams are a little bit like for me to calm down, to practice a little bit, to talk to you guys. So you are welcome to share your thoughts as well. So this is actually like not a not meant to be like a speed sculpt or whatever. Sometimes it takes some time, and I just enjoy the process. And I hope you too. Like I said, I created this UI. I mean, I just like some like 30 minutes ago I recreated my UI here. That's why I have to watch for some buttons here, because I noticed on the screen-based tablet I had to scroll a lot up and down. Um, I was testing and sculpting, and I noticed, yeah, this one, like having buttons here on the side is a little bit less scrolling. I hope so. I still need to scroll sometimes, like for Mirror and World. It's not available right now, but I mean on my new UI, but yeah, I think like I told, you do not have to as a beginner, you do not have to have a screen-based tablet, but on some point, actually, it is fun. It is a new view on working, actually, and like a more direct working, like I said in my review. Um, and there will be more reviews from other tablets as well. Yeah, actually, thank you very much. Um, Moasir or Moa Moakir. Thank you very much. Yeah, I try actually to stick as much as I can to this original art piece. This is what I get actually paid for. Most people are like, and I don't know why. Most people are not willing to stick to the art piece because even if it's actually easier, it's easier to double check, like, oh, am I in the right proportions or not, instead of just eyeballing it. Just eyeballing it is actually harder to do. And that's why I have no idea why people, especially beginners, are asking me always like, oh, why are you like tracing through, or do I have to do it like tracing? And I tell like, you do not have to, but you make your life easier when you use the artwork which is given to you um, by the company, for example. So it's actually, I'm not creating like art here. So there is a huge difference between art and design. And I already told it that I am actually a designer who is designing 3D objects from 2D drawings or images, like uh, how it's called, photos, for example. In my career, I had to recreate like a lot of stuff from photos. Like for advertisement, we had like we had to recreate like earphones or whatever from photos, because the prototype was created right now, or just right now, and they sent just the photos of the prototype and tell like, hey, we would like to have a advertisement from these headphones, and they had to be as near as possible to the original like creation and vision of this company. So that's why I always stick to the original artwork. This is actually a more correct way, like more proper way of working. And like I said, I'm not creating here like art for your wall or so, or for the theater, or I mean for the museum. I'm creating like uh, pieces for games, which are, I mean, concepts like this cost a company, a studio, a lot of money. That's why you want to stick as close as possible to it. But of course, like in interpretation, I like I like some kind of. Oh, by the way, I got a haircut um yesterday because my barber was on vacation for 4 weeks or so, and my hair grew like crazy. But I think he is retiring, and I don't know what to do, because I actually hate getting a haircut, and I hate to watch for new barbershops. So yeah, I actually do not know what to do when he is retiring. And like, I'm always trying to stick not just close to this artwork. Of course, I want to have dynamics. Like he is very, very dynamic in his face, and I want this dynamics like in 3D. So I'm not just pulling out the face like this. I am creating like depth. Okay, so this is very, very important for creating like dynamic pieces like this, but dynamic characters. I mean, when you are creating a realistic character, realistic people faces are not this dynamic, not this especially. I mean, when you are creating like Jim Carrey type of person, then maybe. But but uh, when you are creating like a Viking or whatever, then you usually do not have this dynamics in the face. So you are actually sticking pretty much to the real world. But here the work is actually like design. Okay, so you have to decide a lot, and I like to have a mixture between realistic, some kind of believable, because a character has to be believable in his own world. He has to be believable to the player that this person, this character could exist actually. So this is what I'm always thinking of when I'm creating characters like this. So I'm not just recreating some kind of character here or pirate, for example. I want this character to be like reliable, likable, and yeah, believable that this person or this character exists actually in his own world. Most um, most games are not paying attention to this fact actually in their own creation. Mostly they are not like the concept looks this way. I mean, like this, but the output, I think like it's a bad comparison, but maybe you know this like comparison. Like watch for the original the artworks for the original Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy 7. Of course, like the technology was very, very limited, and that's why I do not want like to point at it and say like, oh, this was bad. But watch at the artworks and watch the game itself. I mean, in this time, it was not possible to create characters like this in 3D. But nowadays we have the technology, so we can create characters like this in 3D. So most people or most studios are not willing to take this work or time to create it like properly, and that's why most characters are pretty flat actually in most games, like in let's say how it's called like on mobile games. They are pretty flat and pretty like uh, not really dynamic. And when they recreate uh, some games, like for example, how it's called, I don't know how it's called, which was like released some years ago. I think it was a recreation of a like very, very big um, game, and it was actually pretty stiff and pretty like not really dynamic. I mean, in the especially the characters, it was not an actual update. where I would say like, okay, when I have an update, I want to have more three-dimensionality and more dynamics and this stuff. Okay, I have a Yeah, actually, like Final Fantasy 16 is, of course, I think it's more realistic. I talk about more about stylization. I mean, or about stylized characters. Um, yeah, like I said, realistic stuff is actually easier to do. That's why I prefer to, like for beginners, I prefer to teach realistic anatomy, realistic um, people first, and then creating stylized characters, because stylized characters are always different. Like this character is different than another character. Like the hard edges and the smooth shapes or smooth areas, hard areas are always different from character to character. That's why I prefer to teach or to learn like stylized. I mean I mean realistic first and stylized later. So let's see how we create. So like these lips, you will never find another character with these lips, and of course you will never find a an example for this. That's why it's so much harder to create this kind of character. Um, yeah, because you will never find actually examples for this, especially not in the real world. Let's see. We will take this one again. The teeth. I think I have to like create a um like pre-made brush or so for this because the layers are annoying like this. Append like that. And yeah, actually, to have some kind of you tell it like I have a pretty much clear vision of my own like of my own yeah career or life. That's why I think as an artist or as a designer, you actually need it to have a clear vision of what you are actually what you want actually um, uh, to to do or yeah, I mean, you always have to have a clear vision of your future. What are you able to do, and all of this stuff. Of course, this sounds sometimes um, like unnecessary philosophical or so, but it's actually the truth. So I don't want to like uh, I'm not a philosophical guy or so, but to having a philosophy behind your work, and like this helps a lot, especially when you're in teaching. Oh, like there I have my presets, or haven't I? Oh yeah, here. So I do not want to scroll a lot. That's why I have it here like this. It's enough. And then just like like this, and inflate it a little bit, and Dynamesh. So I will create, of course, here a little bit more dynamic. I want to fill the gaps before creating like too much details. So yeah, like I said, especially when you are in teaching, you have to some kind of have a philosophy behind it, because yeah, you want to learn from someone who knows his stuff, of course, not just from beginners, but actually, yeah, some kind of having a philosophy behind it, behind his like when we learn from our parents, for example, it's the same thing. Like our parents are teaching us a lot of philosophical stuff. That's why we like to learn from them. So his teeth are, of course, too small. Let me watch. Yeah, exactly. This is what I always tell the same way. Like before you are like stylization is simplification, and you have to, before simplifying something, of course you have to know what you are simplifying there. That's why realistic anatomy is actually a key before before you're spending like time with simplification. You have to know what you are simplifying. That's why you are actually I have no idea why it's not this. That's why I'm always like learning The real thing is, yeah, actually crucial for simplification and reducing like information, like take away information. That's something which not many people are aware of or realize, that you are actually with stylization, you are simplifying things, but it's not simple to simplify things. It's like telling a kid, like when you have kids or maybe younger brothers, sisters, whatever, then you have to like simplify the world for them, to explain things. And what we do here with these characters is actually explaining things on a real like basic level, like for a kids movie, okay, for an animation movie, we are putting like very simple concepts in there, like he is evil or he is crazy, and this shows actually on the face. It's not the same level of like on real acting. Real acting is like more complex, because it has to do with like psychology and this stuff. But on an animation show, you do not have these complex concepts. You have to like simplify a lot. That's why yeah, this kind of animation, this kind of characters are invented actually, because yeah, Disney and I don't know, like people in general, like creatives, wanted to explain things on a very basic level. And that's why we are reducing actually information and give just basic information. But it's very hard to do. um, Yisnu is asking how to import a model into Substance for texturing. Actually, I import and export always with FBX. So it's actually pretty straightforward, but I cannot show it here because like for this you have to have like how it's called, UVs and unwrapping and um, retopo and this stuff. And yeah, I do not have any retopo on this piece here, for example. That's why I cannot show you, but yeah, it's actually pretty straightforward. You're exporting here like there as an FBX and import it into ZBrush, into Substance. It's actually easiest thing to do, but you have to have, of course, UVs for this. So we are the like of course it's not symmetric. I created symmetric as long as I can. I stick with symmetry as long as I can, and distort later. Patron, yeah, thank you. So you are welcome to join. Like I said, you can learn a lot there. Like these are on Patreon. Patreon, like my Patreon is not for everybody. Um, I had a student which who was like unsatisfied with my Patreon. It's of course I like your risk, to join and have a look if you can like learn from my methods. I try to teach first. I'm not entering like ZBrush from the first try and yeah, sculpt this character for you. So this is not actually the point of my teaching. Um, the point of my teaching is more like learning basics, learning, especially learning to be an artist first. This is the very first thing you do actually, learning being an artist. And I do not mean an artist like, oh, I'm expressing like stuff. I mean artist like artistic thinking. Like, for example, I consider like artistic thinking is like self-teaching. Of course, on some point, I was in art school and I really enjoyed art school and this stuff. And I really recommend when you can go to an art school, then go to an art school. Do not learn only from YouTube, but of course you need to learn how to learn, and this is what I mean by artistic thinking, because most artists, I mean, on some point you have to teach yourself things, and when you just rely on like clicking, like click here, click there, and whatever, and move around, and then you have this character. This is not a proper way of learning, and this is actually not a proper way of teaching. So what I want is actually to you to learn how to learn, because you cannot teach it, this stuff you cannot teach it actually like actively, and you can but the only thing you can do is actually learn it, and I can like guide you, like, okay, so this is what I try to do is guiding. Of course, it's like not easy to explain, but you have to trust the process. If you are really, really like wanting this to be an like a profession for you, you want to, I mean, you need to learn how to be an artist first. Because many people think that you can learn it easy and quick and this stuff. I mean, like on YouTube, there are many people who are promising a lot. Like, hey, when you follow these 5 steps, then you learn how to sculpt, and it's actually not that easy, I think. So it's easy to follow a tutorial, of course, but it's not easy to learn being an artist. And this is what I want to teach people to people to be artists, thinking like an artist and this stuff. But it's of course not for everybody. Like I said, many people do not get it. They think like, oh, I was for 2 months, for whole 2 months, I was your patron, and I still cannot do anything. Yeah, sure. Um, like, don't think that you can learn it in 2 months or so, even if you are paying someone or whatever. It's not a quick, um, yeah, quick thing. I don't know how to call it, but I hope you get it. Like, and for example, many people are like, oh, when I enter your Patreon, is it possible that I can apply for a job in, I mean, in 2 months? No, of course not. It always depends, of course, on your learning, but usually learning needs time, a lot of time. Um, Charmorph is asking, can you tell me what parts of the head need to be marked to look stylized? Um, yeah, actually I have no idea what to answer because um, yeah, I think you should rewatch this video here when I was talking about stylization and that you cannot actually like for stylization means simplification. Watch this part, rewatch this part when I was talking about simplification. Because stylization or like stylization when I um, is not something you like learn overnight or just like from one tip. I mean, like I'll do this and then it's stylized. Okay, it's not working like this. I mean, when you want to know like what kind of parts are the like it's hard to do hard to tell it like this, but I hope you get what I mean. Um, the most important things in stylization, I think, is like simplification first and distortion the second. Okay, his head is very distorted, so the more you simplify and the more you distort it, um, the more simple like stylized it looks actually. So I hope this helps you a little bit with your question. But like I said, it's not easy to answer your question, your particular question, because there is not one part which is like you can like I said like this. Okay, this is like hard edges, of course, and they always look like stylized. But how do you actually simplify? This is the more important question. How do you simplify a character? You're welcome. Like I said, yeah, rewatch this episode. That's a good question. Nathan is asking, um, do you think an online course is comparable to an art school? I would love to go to one, but I'm at university for computer science. Um, Actually, Nathan, you are first, you are lucky that you can go to an university, especially for computer science. It's pretty cool. Um, it depends, of course, what you want to do. With a diploma of computer science, you can actually go to game development. Okay, and I mean by game development, I do not mean like just using Godot or Unity. Um, this is something I do. I use like ZBrush or these tools, okay? But you can actually enter the development process in developing like game engines, developing games like in depth, really in depth. And when you want to enter art, it's, I think, the same thing like with computer science. You can learn actually a lot from online courses. Of course, I first I learned a lot from online courses, and of course, you can like find out if it's something for you. But a school is always, um, to my opinion, it's always above an online course. Always. I would always recommend going to school first, and then when you learned enough, like of course I was in art school learning more advertisement stuff, like really camera work, lighting, rendering, realistic modeling, realistic rendering, and this stuff. I was never teached like game engines, but I had a like a base, like a basis for design. Okay, my art school was a design school, of course, and I was taught, um, yeah, being a designer first, and then I learned all of these like character stuff, like stylization on my own. But because I had a very like strong basis for design, I was able to adapt. Like I was creating more realistic stuff earlier, like some years ago. Then I got a review, like portfolio review in a game studio. Mm, I was not applying there. I was just visiting, but a guy asked me, "Hey, can I see your portfolio?" And I was like, "Okay, here." Because I was just invited there for visiting. And he told like, "Oh, your portfolio is pretty cool, strong, but um, why don't you um, why don't you do more stylization, stylized characters?" And I was like, good question. I never was doing stylized characters, and I tried it, and I loved it actually. So because I was coming from the realistic art stuff, like modeling, realistic modeling, hard surface modeling, and this stuff, the entry into stylized characters was very easy for me. But because I had a very strong basis, uh, and I think when you miss these basics, then you have a very um, hard time like getting becoming a an art, like artist, designer, whatever. Okay, so I would always prefer art school, and always prefer getting proper education in design. But when you are like in a country where is no design art schools, design schools, whatever, then of course you should get some how it's called online courses, and yeah, get some like guidance, like I do on my Patreon. I do guiding, like it's not much. I try my best to give as much guidance as I can, but of course my time is limited as well. um, and the payment is of course not much. That's why I cannot do it like full time. but I actually like giving guidance, giving tips. Uh, so yeah, your question. I was wondering if you want like making computer science or switching to art. Is it something like you want to do, like switching the profession? And actually, learning, like I said before, learning ZBrush is not design actually. And learning ZBrush or, I mean, Blender or whatever, 3D or 2D piece, like software, is actually not design. It's part of design, but I mean, it's just a tool. Okay. So that's why I recommend to, when you are not sure if you want to, um, when you are not sure what to do, then I recommend to draw in 2D and watch if you can actually develop yourself as an artist first. I want to be able to make my own game characters and have them actually look nice. That's yeah, that's the big like not question, but I hope you get what I want to say. It's this is actually what everyone wants. Of course, uh, I do as well. Like I want my characters to look cool, and yeah, but it's actually a long road there to get there is a very, very long road. And of course, maybe you are very young and have the time, then sure, why not try? Like I said, I would recommend like um, I already did a some kind of challenge for my I mean like some months ago. But try this if you want to be a character artist. I've been studying anatomy and doing 2D drawings. Yeah, cool. So when you're doing 2D stuff, 2D drawings, 2D learning, and really enjoy it. I mean, really enjoy it. Then you can do the step towards 3D. Sure, why not? I mean, you do not have something to lose when you go like for 3D right now, and just figure out if you like it. If you like it so much that you can spend actually hours, days, or months with one character creating. And yeah, when you can do it, why not? Sure. Um, as a like random information about me, about myself, I was in university as well, and I was studying. I don't know how it's called in English. Let me like electric science, electricity, like similar to. Let me translate quickly. But I was actually unhappy. I was drawing a lot, like in my younger times, and I was let me yeah, electrical engineering. Okay, I was studying electrical engineering, and I hated it so much that I dropped university, um, and entered the art school then. Because yeah, like I said, it's very, very dry, and I was actually into design and art more, more into the more into art and design. And that's why, yeah, sure. I mean, you can drop, like, you can switch when you are young. It's totally fine. And electric engineering is actually, I don't know if it's like in general, but in Germany, it's one of the hardest um, things you can study. So, and I was not prepared for it because I entered university just because I wanted to please my parents. Some kind of, I mean, I had no idea what to do actually. I knew that like how it's called, going to art school is very, very expensive. And my parents told like, oh, we cannot pay you this art school. And I told like, okay, I will pay it on my own. And I worked and I paid the art school. I mean, I was living at with my parents in this time, but the art school I was paying on my own. And there you see how actually, yeah, like, are you are you willing to pay an expensive art school, for example? And this is actually how long it's ago? Like, um, I think 15 years ago. So very, very long time ago. So I'm creating his teeth. So he has actually not much in his mouth, but not many. So, so if this is your thing, like being an artist, I really recommend to follow your own like instinct, and maybe you earn less than before, but um, yeah, it makes me makes me and hopefully you as well happier. So I see that the stream has some trouble, I think, again. Like, I don't know why my internet connection is very, very bad. So I hope I do not lose you. Like, creating teeth is a little bit tiring because it's always so much work because they are sticking like this, out like this. I don't know if I want to create all of the teeth. So please tell me if this stream is still online. Because this one I am not recording. I'm not sure if the recording of the Gambit stream was like the problem last time. Um, because I lost the stream on some point. So yeah, if you have any question regarding the industry, regarding learning, studying, so let's fill the gaps here. And yeah, I know actually that many experienced artists are telling like, oh, an art school is not worth it, even if they visited art schools. Um, but I have another opinion about art schools. I think they are worth it. It's of course like, um, do you actually learn from it? And it's like, it's not the fault of the art school. Like my art school was like in critiques. Some people were criticizing my art school, who like fellow students who were studying with me, but and they told like, oh, this art school is not good because they are not teaching like game design and this stuff. But actually, they cannot teach you everything, sure. And when you want to learn something, like you are free to learn it on your own, of course. Like I'm still figuring out how to create this chin here. And I thought it was like, and I'm not defending art schools because I visited one and I want to like to defend it, or just because I'm teaching in art schools as well. I want actually you to know that an art school is like more um, more worth it than people tell you. Okay, let's spend some time with the eyes. So the eyes are very special because they are very distorted. Let's take a look first here. Like he has a bigger eye and smaller eye. Of course, you would not create it like for games like this or for animation like this. It's just for some kind of printing version. There's some kind of distortion. You would actually do it in animation, and you have to prepare your model to be able to do this these kind of uh, distortion. So so I hope you are still there. If not, I hope you can watch the rest as a VOD. And I will work further here. He looks like a zombie a little bit, uh, like this. He looks more like a zombie. Of course, you can repurpose your characters and create from this character like for example, a zombie version if you need it for your portfolio or for your game. So I'm extracting the eyebrows. Osman, welcome. Good morning. So I leave the eyebrows like this for now, and I want to make them a little bit like flatter because the artwork is like more flat. It depends, of course, what kind of effect you want to achieve, but I think you have to be like you have to pay attention what the original art creator actually wanted here. And many people are, or sometimes I do as well, putting too much like details on the characters, and of course this kind of stylization or this kind of stylized characters do not need a lot details. Drag this geometry like that. Pretty simple first. So I worked my way through, and you just can watch, of course. And if you have any question, please ask. And I try to answer. So I do not have any like topics anymore. Maybe I was realizing that there is a new game out, like how it's called, Wukong, this Black Myth Wukong, and I thought maybe next time I will create a Wukong character because I actually like this Monkey King theme. Uh, so I extract these little details there. I do this mustache a little bit more like quicker. Of course, you need to spend actually a lot of time to create it like dynamic. I think I think something like this. Actually, it has already too much. Too many subdivisions. Let me put the artwork.
Okay, I have to figure out how this works. Oh, there.
Like this. So I do not need it for now in the background. I can have it in the foreground like this. Um, so I did it actually because sometimes this background is annoying me because it's creating a lot of artifacts and side effects and whatever. Um, so sometimes masking is not working. So it's not a perfect solution, I think. But yeah, anyway, now I need it in the background again. So it's too far up, like this. Of course, you need to do it like before, like the extraction before. I mean, the double check it before extracting. But anyway, it works.
So he has a very, very small head. I I created like just this cap like this, and then I distort his head so it fits more the concept. Like I said, it's not properly like for game creation. Maybe it's too much. Maybe here you have to compromise like between artwork and your like your wish to create it like for as a 3D piece. You have to compromise, like make a big mixture between. So sometimes things are not working in 3D like you would create it in or paint it in 2D. So make it thinner. I make it a little bit quicker because yeah, it's stylized and it doesn't have to be super clean. Here and there, yes, but it's a pirate, so he doesn't wear like very how it's called clean stuff. So he is more like unclean. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. So of course, you would need to develop this, how it's actually wrapping around the head for a game or so, or for printing. You have to do it, but I will not do it here because it takes a lot of time to create to develop it actually. I do it like from this perspective. It's totally fine for me right now. And I think I need some hair at the side. Like there. I think there we have here some strange. No. I thought we have here like double geometry like over lying on top, but it's not the case. some dynamic hair sticking out. And then the neck. So split in. And a guy like this has a actually very thin neck, I think. Like this. A bit longer, a bit thicker, like some trapezius muscles here. So creating some hard edges like this. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this piece. I'm coming to the end, I think, and I will, or I hope I can like finish this piece into a render ready piece someday. Maybe tomorrow or so, and then I will create a nice looking thumbnail. So guys, if you have any question, please let me know. So this is what I mean. This background is annoying sometimes because it's like, and then it's not, the model is not working properly when I have it on. So like this. So for a client, I would, of course, do it a little bit more proper. But here as a presentation, it's okay, like this. I mean, I would spend a little bit more time with it. It's a little bit like, it's okay for now, like the beard here at the side, it's okay. Delete lower and mirror and weld, like this. Oh yeah, it's of course too much. I think this area here of the face is a little bit too much out. Should be more like this, I think. Distorting the ear. So it's a more of a sketch. That's why it's totally fine when it's not finished. I mean, when it's not like perfect there. And the hair on the backside, I will create it, I think, tomorrow. So and create a proper rendering. So this is my version so far. So guys, thank you very much for watching and participating in the discussions. Thank you very much for your questions, and I hope I could help you with your decision, like visiting a art school, or maybe you need a guidance for your learning. And then of course you can visit my Patreon. Over there I have a coaching going on. Like you can have a coaching, live coaching, or video coaching, depends on what kind of um, yeah, on what kind of point in your learning you are. So we will discuss it there, and what you actually need, if you need like really like live teaching or live learning, live coaching. If you have any questions and this stuff, we can have a chat, or I create feedback videos for you. You find a lot of feedback videos I created already for the other students, so you can always watch them and learn from them. Of course, I want to create it like this, that you are learning from each other. I mean, like the questions here above. Um, when you ask questions, then it's always like for everybody. Like when I'm talking about basic stuff about your questions, then many people are like profiting from it. So yeah, thank you very much for your questions and this. Then yeah, don't forget to ask to like, subscribe, and to comment. This helps me a lot with YouTube stuff. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for being here. And yeah, I'm out. And I see you next time on maybe Monday. I'm out, and thank you very much. Bye bye.